Interim safety plan. Safety plans can be tricky to write. They're about serious actions in serious situations, but they're usually for the vulnerable person, the victim, to implement to protect themselves and anyone dependent on them, usually children. It can be very, very easy for these to be written in a way which is victim blaming. You have to protect the children from the guy who for years has put you down and beat you up, and if they come to harm, it's because of you not protecting them well enough. That type of attitude. We used to have written agreements which we'd use in these sorts of situations, but we don't use them as much now, at least not around domestic abuse, because they inherently put responsibility on the wrong person, and they were written up like a legal contract, with people signing them and everything. So in domestic abuse situations, the victim felt that they were between a rock and a hard place. On the one side, they've got the abuser, and on the other side, there's this pseudo-legal, scary kind of document that we've got them to sign. The way that we use safety plans these days are better, but only if they're used properly. So looking at this, you can see that Suzy addressed the plan to Lucy for similar reasons to why we write to the children in some of the case notes, to draw that connection and make it feel more personal. The main difference between this interim safety plan and the one in the case note is this preamble. It isn't very long, but it serves an important purpose. We want this plan to be empowering for Lucy. She's lived in a world where she has had to walk on eggshells around Mike, and her experience is that he has power and she does not. We're trying to break that spell, but like I said in my needs episodes, we can't just give Lucy the understanding that she has the power to go against Mike. We can't just put it into her brain. In order to empower her, we have to take every opportunity to introduce the idea that it's possible and that she can achieve this and how. And then once she's got those ideas planted in her head and she's shown that she has support to achieve things herself, her brain will hopefully germinate those ideas until she accepts that they're true. This is the primary change that we're aiming to achieve here. If she's able to build that capacity within herself to believe that she is able to do the things to protect herself and the children, then a good chunk of our concern about the children will be reduced. We're still going to have to work on Mike, but we won't have as much to worry about whether Lucy will find it easier to go back to the devil she knows instead of doing the hard work that it will take to get her and the children in a better place. It should also hopefully give her the confidence to make other improvements to her life and the children's. Now, that change is going to take time, and probably there'll be a couple of false starts in there, and she'll need a lot of support. Getting her and the children through that process is the essence of our job as social workers. Lots of social work practices geared towards achieving this type of change. Motivational interviewing is a personal favourite of mine, but there's other things as well. Moving on to the plan itself, Suzy has made it clear first and foremost that Mike is the one who is responsible for his own actions. This could almost be a mantra for Lucy in breaking her from feeling responsible for him. Mike is an adult and responsible for his own actions. He knows what he is and isn't allowed to do. Mike is an adult and responsible for his own actions. He knows what he is and isn't allowed to do. Instead of giving Lucy orders, you will call the police, she's used the word please to soften the actions, but still keep the sense of urgency in there. Suzy's also reminded Lucy that she's not alone. This is put into the plan because remembering that is part of the plan for Lucy. When something kicks off and she's in a moment when she most requires the safety plan, that is when she is going to feel the most vulnerable and the most alone. Remembering that she is not is an important action that she should take in that moment. Like with empowerment, we have to constantly bring up that fact that Lucy has support and isn't alone until her brain accepts it, instead of the idea that she is alone, as Mike has drilled into her over the years. Finally, we have contact information on the plan. In an emergency, people's brains just don't work properly. So when you're writing a plan, make it as easy as possible to get the information, even things as basic as calling 999. People can forget this, if they're scared or just in that moment.